What's up, guys? I am James Hake. We are now live on the Hake Report. Guess who's back? Hake is back. 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 Dun, 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 dun. What's up, everybody? TheHakeReport.com is now once again live on YouTube. I mean, we'll see how long this lasts. Hopefully it'll last a long time. Maybe I can be wise. We'll see. Twitch.tv/TheHakeReport, Facebook, DLive, Periscope, which is also Twitter. Trovo.live. Do I owe you guys an apology for referencing? Is that Eminem? I think it is. It is Friday, June 18th, the year of our Lord, 2021, and this offensive, anti-Christian, anti-American Apple calendar is telling me it's Juneteenth tomorrow. June blah blah. Anyway, guys, I do have a hand-picked song for you, and I have to start it basically right now. I want to do Muscle and Flow. Muscle and Flow is a song on a Menomena album. I've been playing Menomena songs. Menomena. Hope you enjoy Muscle and Flow by Menomena. And hopefully I don't have to shout so much because I think I'll be able to grab the video from the YouTube, and it tends to have the music be quieter than the video recording for the podcast because I get drowned out when I upload these things on. I was uploading to Rumble. I have a Rumble thing now, and I also have BitChute. Now that I'm back on YouTube, I will probably be neglecting them again. What a mess. Shameful. Tough times make you get creative, and anyway, what a mess. Listen to Muscle and Flow by Menomena, and we'll be chatting. I'll be taking your calls. Loosey Goosey Friday show. Enjoy. My favorite Muppet song, Menomena. How's the volume, guys? 1 for great, 2 for too loud, drowning me out, 3, 4, and it'll get louder. 3 for a bit quiet, 3 for please turn up the song. 1 wrong word and you're out of here, eh? 1 false word. Thank you for the warning to White. This is probably the reason Hake got a strike. His horrible music. The bad music got him banned. What's up, Willie? Over there on Facebook. Nice to see you. It's creative. It's somewhat Christian, I think. No offense, but you gotta hit the gym, bro. Thanks, man. True. I love white people, James, not the music. Press 4 to turn it off. Not that we're gonna comply. Hake, you a Cali guy. I know. Sounds like the 90s. This is early 2000s, I do want to say. Isn't the piano nice? I am doing, by the way, guys, Samuel the Swede's show, The Cross Stream, on Sunday. This part sounds Christian. A broken man. But I'm not sure it's a Christian song. Where's my lyrics? He says, if I could, I'd be on my knees. That doesn't sound Christian. You got pretty bad taste, James. He said, if Jesus could only wash my feet, I'd get up strong and muscle on. because Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. I'm going to talk about the illegals, as you know, guys. Illegals out of control. Texas Governor Abbott, grandstanding. I have more about Justice Clarence Thomas and Obamacare, by the way. I have a feeling that these guys worship women and not God. Isn't that always the way with guys, musicians, too? I have a little bit about June blah blah. Known by some of you as June blah blah blah. And I have a little bit about the IRS versus Christians. Anti-Christian IRS. Hey, this is better than a teen angst yelling. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. I think that's about it. So, guys, it wasn't too bad, right? Kind of like Peter Gabriel. Somebody said it sounds like the Gorillas. Let's get right on with the show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, guys. I'm happy to be back on YouTube. Now I can upload that Steve King interview, Congressman Steve King interview to YouTube. Finally, right? And we'll be chatting. You can call in 888-775-3773. Hope you enjoy this show. It's going to be fun.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Lots of stuff happening. Lots of stuff happening. This is decent. Yes, that is the original A.J. Gallardo theme song, written and recorded in one sitting on Christmas Eve of 2017 up in Big Bear, California. Right on. Shout out to Anthony Joseph Gallardo. And to the man who made the song that I normally play Monday through Thursday, the Hake Report theme song, Trevor Wesley. Excellent work, man. Always appreciate that. I will be reading your super chats, streamlabs.com/the Hake Report, as well as trovo.live/the Hake Report. I'm demonetized still on YouTube. When I go on YouTube, it says 6 months later. I think I applied back in like August or October or something of last year, and I barely found out a month ago or less. Oh, we have declined your thing, your application to be monetized again on YouTube. Whatever, YouTube. And they pretend that it's not advertiser friendly. But all the degenerate stuff that they push is advertiser friendly. And they give it to children too. Sick. And also I'm demonetized on DLive.tv. So if you want to support, you can support Jesse Lee Peterson on DLive.tv. So that's good. I have a story that I have to show to you guys before I get to the calls. 888-775-3773. Nice. I got that mirror effect where I'm not sure which way I should be going. I'm pointing to, those of you listening on the audio podcast, I was pointing to the number on the lower left, I guess, of my screen. Yeah. Smuggling illegal aliens around the border patrol, around the border patrol, is a booming business for drivers, so-called U.S. citizen drivers. And I dare guess that many of the quote-unquote U.S. citizen drivers in Texas whom they are recruiting are not Chris White, skateboard white Chris, or James Hake type U.S. citizens. I do believe that they could be confused for illegals themselves, but that's just a guess. It's not a guess, actually. I've seen it in person. We've seen footage. I've shown footage, actually, and I have B-roll, throwback B-roll that I could play for you guys too, of this mess. The Epoch Times reports social media platforms. This is what the social media platforms should be cracking down on and censoring. Actual insurrection, subversion of the country. Social media platforms, encrypted messaging apps, and Google Map pin drops are being utilized or used, fancy word for used, to move thousands of illegal aliens around Border Patrol checkpoints and eventually to large U.S. cities. In Texas, drivers are being recruited on social media, lured by the promise of quick cash to haul illegal aliens to San Antonio, Houston, Austin, or Dallas. One U.S. citizen driver told the Epoch Times he was promised $1,000 per person for the 7 Guatemalans he was moving from Kinney County to San Antonio. We've seen, maybe this is the same so-called U.S. citizen driver who's in the video footage. Do you want to play that? I have it inside that folder. It plays, there's a little bit of noise to it, but it's basically quiet B-roll, so I can just keep talking, you just play it. You see them chasing, you will see them chasing this driver or driving up to the point where they stopped him. And you'll see the guy getting arrested, and it doesn't look like an ordinary U.S. citizen. Looks like a Hispanic to me, maybe. And then you'll see them pop the trunk later. So watch that as I read this. The driver, the Del Rio section of Texas. Mexico border, Texas-Mexico border, is largely ranch land. I've told you that before. Small communities dotted in between, linked by rural roads. The driver will have a general idea of the pickup location. As the illegal aliens get close, the communication will ramp up, according to Homeland Security Investigations, HSI official, part of ICE. There's a foot guy that usually used to bring, did you see that guy? Usually used to bring the non-citizens across the international border. The official said, ridiculously using that Biden-Harris-Obama word, non-citizen. They're called illegal aliens. Ridiculous. So far this fiscal year, since October 1st, 2020, San Antonio HSI office has initiated more than 320 criminal investigations related to human smuggling. That's just what they've suspect. That's just what they've caught. In fiscal 2020, the office initiated almost 450 smuggling probes. Smuggling and trafficking in two distinct activities, by the way, according to ICE. Smuggling is the transportation of people from one place to another, involving deliberate evasion of immigration laws. Trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to compel an individual into a commercial sex act or involuntary servitude or slavery purposes. Child trafficking needs not prove force, or fraud, or coercion. Yeah, you can play both of these clips. Look at that. Illegals in the trunk. I assume that they're illegals. I think it's a safe assumption, right? Have you ever ridden in the trunk before? I might have. But that's because we were trying to pile into the car. High schoolers, you know. And that's the statute of limitations has passed, so my high school friends can't get in trouble. By the way, one guy led cops on a 50-mile high-speed chase in this area, reaching 100 miles per hour sometimes, before crashing head-on with another car, killing 8 illegals in his pickup truck. Hope that was worth it, buddy. He and his passenger survived. So he dropped eight grand dead. A second vehicle that they stopped near the crash site had 12 illegals. Smuggling generally carries a 2-year minimum sentence. Most smuggling arrests are in South Texas and West Texas. And a lot of these illegals are males. I dare say most of them are males. Fighting age males, by the way. Or working age males. So it's not, oh, these innocent families. Not that the families are innocent either. Not that they're even families, honestly. The cartels are now reaching out because they need more labor. Can you believe this? To cities such as Houston, San Antonio, and others, using social media promising lots of money, said Texas Department of Safety Director Steve McCraw. He showed a recruitment video on TikTok. A smuggling recruitment video, TikTok, flashed wads of cash and the words, drivers needed, DM to make some racks, with bouncy music reminiscent of the neighborhood ice cream truck playing in the background. Mexican cartels have always done a very good job, unfortunately, of seeking and recruiting our children along the Texas-Mexico border. Our children. To support the cartel operations, smuggling operations. Often juveniles avoid prosecution. Talk about taking advantage of our weak, soft laws. Mexicans wake up slowly, like little kids. Juveniles avoid prosecution for smuggling drugs or humans, making them targets for recruitment. Reminds me of like the abuse of the what are those things? Those where people go shoplifting rings. There are shoplifting rings in California because you can steal up to $999.99, and then it's you don't go to jail. What a mess. Uvalde County Sheriff Ruben Nolasco. I've mentioned this guy before because I've talked about how, you know, family men have had to like tell their children, you can't play it in our own yard, and tell the woman to get in the house, and tell the illegals to get off the porch, and threaten them with guns and stuff. So I've talked about this Ruben Nolasco before. He's the sheriff of Uvalde, Uvalde. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. West Texas people or South Texas people, let me know. Said the majority of drivers he has dealt with who are U.S. citizens. U.S. citizens out of Austin, Texas, while many of the vehicles are stolen. Young adults, early 20s, possibly mid-30s. No respect for life or property, he said, by the way. Very dangerous out there. What kind of U.S. citizen has no respect for life or property? Are these blacks? Are these out-of-control Hispanics from bad families too? Maybe some whites? I don't know. Uvalde, by the way, border agents have been caught smuggling drugs and taking mess like this too. Uvalde is currently plagued by high-speed pursuits. Listen to this. I don't even think this happens in LA County this much. I could be wrong. 2 of the longest highways intersect in the city. Nolasco estimates there's an average of 2 pursuits per day in his county. Ramped up about 2 per week it ramped up from 2 per week in January, when the border crossings started to spike. In the region, Texas state troopers have recorded a jump in vehicle pursuits from 7 in January to 50 in April. Wow. That is out of control. June 13th, a U-Haul truck containing 27 illegal aliens was stopped near a Texas highway checkpoint north of Laredo, according to Customs and Border Protection, CBP. The agency said the cargo area was unventilated, had reached 106 degrees Fahrenheit. Illegal aliens were from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras. Driver and passenger were U.S. citizens. June 10th, just 3 days earlier, 33 illegals discovered locked inside a U-Haul near a McDonald's in near Big Bend, Texas. 12 were subsequently transported to hospitals. So, and then we have Greg Abbott, whom I consider a rhino. I know that there are some people in Texas who are fans of him. I know Bobby in Texas is not particularly a fan of his, especially with regard to his ending the unemployment extra benefits related to the communist shutdowns early. I'm okay with that move, I think. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued a state disaster declaration June 1st, pushing resources to control the border, spillover crime. 34 highly affected counties, all along the border, plus a couple up closer to 60 miles away, 70 miles away, where they're still having illegal problems. Abbott launched a website, by the way, borderwall.texas.gov. I think I have a screenshot of this borderwall.texas.gov website. He's asking for money to build the wall because they want to build a wall privately without the federal government help. He's demanding that the Biden administration return the land seized by the federal government under Trump to build the border wall because Biden canceled the building of the border wall, but they still have the land that they took through condemnation powers. I guess that's similar to eminent domain, to obtain property along the U.S.-Mexico border previously owned by Texans, private citizens. So they took away their land and then they canceled the wall that was supposed to protect them from the illegals. So they have $250 million to start, and he's asking for more donations. Trump is going to the border alongside Texas Governor Abbott, June 30th, supposedly. We'll see. He said criminal trespassing, smuggling, and human trafficking are a major problem. Sheriffs are saying it's only a matter of time before someone gets shot because the illegals are getting bold. I told you yesterday in Hake News, Abbott is a giant rhino and he won't even stand up for Texas, says Asmodor. And I believe Asmodor knows Texas. Abbott is better than other rhinos, though, says David Flores. What a mess. But I told you guys about, what was I going to say? Oh, they're getting bold. They are threatening. I'm talking about the illegals. They're cutting giant holes in fences. I told you about this in Hake News yesterday at the end of maybe hour 1 or maybe hour 2. One of the other guys on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And they're threatening people. One guy held a gun, and the guy was still not backing down. He had to cock the hammer, show that he was serious. Because illegals are making threats. I know where you live, one guy told this woman as he was getting arrested, or this couple. Crazy. It used to be that they would try to be respectful, so-called. Respectful illegal aliens. And avoid homes and things, unless they were desperate. Crazy. I told you one story where we had what I called a home invader from, we think, Guatemala. My neighbor thought Guatemala when I was a kid. Came into my parents' house when we were all kids. All of their kids were children. And came to our room, didn't see the parents, left. I didn't see it. My brother saw it though. He's all, oh, I thought that was a friend of the family. Such and such a friend of the family. But no, it was a Guatemalan who was claiming he's a Mexican. Then went down to I guess my mother forgot and left the garage door unlocked. Crazy. He just waltzed right in. It was from the Lord. So my dad's all, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Hallelujah, get out of here in Jesus' name. Stuff like that, maybe. This is according to my mother. And I've told you guys this once before. And he eventually communicated to my dad that he wanted to sleep in the family van, the van that we had at that time. My dad's like, no. But they let him stay in the bed of my dad's truck, which had a shell and it had like nice carpeting on the bed. Oh, you loved that carpeting. I used to ride in the back of that truck. 83 Toyota pickup. Beautiful. But you let him stay there, put blankets. And so I was walking out for church the next day. It was a Saturday night that this happened. Sunday morning, walk out for church, and I see this illegal sleeping in my dad's truck with, like, the blankets with, like, Disney characters on it or something. And then later on, I see my neighbor who's Hispanic, our neighbor who was Hispanic, talking to this guy, and the cops talking to him, and the guy was claiming to be Mexican. And then the neighbor's like, this guy, he doesn't really know the food or the culture. He must be Guatemalan. They say they're Mexican so that they get deported to Mexico, so they're closer to the border, rather than all the way down to Guatemala, where they have to come all the way back. What a mess. Yeah, it was an illegal. Crazy. And then by the way, the Hispanic neighbor said, you're lucky, the Mexican neighbor, I assume, said, you're lucky you didn't come into my house. My wife keeps a knife or a gun next to her pillow. True. Crazy. Anyway, let me get to Bobby in Texas. He wants to talk about the border situation. Our charitable nation will be the death of us, says Chris. Yeah, nice white Christians. And yet we're the most demonized because we're the most easily pushed around. What a mess. Terrible. Bobby in Texas on the border and on Juneteenth. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing well as well. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been able to call. I've been super busy, so I've been listening, but I haven't had a chance to give you a call.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. So first off, I don't hobby farm. Like I have over a section of land that I farm, so it's not just a hobby. It's
okay.
Straight.
But it's not your primary business.
Well, I own a business, but I bought that business via farming.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it is my primary, I would say.
Okay.
And it's where I work. I don't work at my business.
Okay.
Often.
Nice.
So, but yeah, and another thing real quick, the name of the town that you keep referencing is Uvalde.
Uvalde.
YouTube, Uvalde.
Uvalde.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Right.
I'm like, Uvalde. Trying
to
pronounce it all
yesterday.
Mexican. What in the world? I'm glad that I asked the question. Because I asked it out loud. I'm like, you guys probably know that you guys probably think I'm mispronouncing it, which sure enough, I was.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird names down in that particular region of Texas that'll catch you off guard. Like, you'll read them all wrong. I've done it for years. I go there often, so that's why I know.
Right.
Like, there's a town that's right near there called, they call it Lakey, but it's spelled like leaky. I called it leaky for about a decade.
So that's Uvalde?
Uvalde.
Okay. Nice. Appreciate that.
So Juneteenth, like, I don't have a problem with Juneteenth per se. Like, I mean, it's not a holiday for me. You know what I mean? I don't see it being registered as a federal holiday because I figure those are for everyone. You
right.
know what I mean?
Yep.
A federal holiday should be something that everyone would celebrate.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with the emancipation of slaves. Whatever, it is what it is. It's done. And I don't mind if black people are excited about it. You know, I would be probably, if whites were on the receiving end, I would probably be okay with, you know, celebrating the day that my people were no longer slaves. So,
you think so? To this day, it would be on your mind?
Maybe. I honestly couldn't say.
Right.
If it was a holiday and I was brought up celebrating it, like, I figured it was a Texan holiday. I didn't realize it was even a national. I didn't realize they celebrated in other states.
Right.
I would think they would have enough, you know, to know that they were already freed in every other state. So why not celebrate the day that their state was freed? But whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. And I mean, I know Trump was like platforming, like making it a federal holiday before, like in his re-election campaign.
He was?
Which didn't bother me then either. It seemed like a smart political move, you know, try and gain a little bit of, you know, votes where you can.
I suppose, but it would be so much more powerful to put a stop to all of this kissing up to blacks. It's the last thing we need. you know. But
And I'm trying
I do
to-
like Trump anyway. I love Trump regardless.
Yeah, I have no issues with Trump. I love Trump. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But I don't have any, I don't have any problem with it, and I don't have a problem with like the idea. I don't think it should be a federal holiday since it's not for everyone. It's not a,
It's a
Hispanics
local. It was a local event.
Yeah, it's like, are we going to make Cinco de Mayo federal holiday? And like, where does it end?
Sleepy Biden told this woman, Opal Lee, 94-year-old woman who's been fighting and marching to make June blah blah a federal holiday for decades. You are an incredible woman. So it was pushed by this woman. Give me a break. Anyway.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then we've got Abbott he's funding the wall ourselves, which I was a fan of originally. I've always thought that, as soon as they stopped the building it, they should have been like, all right, well, we'll just take it on ourselves and get it done and at least keep Texas safe,
Yeah.
But, and I mean, I think he used, last I read was like $265 million of tax dollars to build it, which, whatever, I guess it's good to use this money as they can spend it on other things better than go into,
Yeah. I would
something.
gladly pay more taxes, not that it's actually necessary, to deport all the illegals.
Oh yeah, that's where that $265 million to deport. I'm all over that one.
Yeah.
I would deport so many people from this country. Like if you're in Antifa, if you're in BLM, you should be sent.
Yeah, honestly, the
to send you
Democrat
back to
Party is not
Africa.
even a valid party, and the Republican is quickly losing any validity as well, if they haven't already lost it.
I really did enjoy that Steve King. That's his name, right?
Nice, yeah, Congressman Steve King of Iowa.
Yeah, I really liked that interview. I thought he was legit. I've never even really heard of him before.
Yeah,
I really liked his answers and his stance on subjects that you were discussing. Like he seemed like a pretty knowledgeable guy and just seemed like he had the right ideas. Like he had he was a politician, but he didn't seem like he was pandering to all the weakness and all the left nonsense. Like seemed like he still had some sort of respect and reasonability about himself.
Yeah.
And logic.
Another person, the Fallen State producer who listened to the show too, remarked about how he said that the media couldn't find one person, neighbor, former friend, relative, to say a bad word about him because it wasn't there. There was nothing negative about him. They had to make up something.
Yeah, he seemed like just a really down-to-earth, nice guy. Like,
yeah.
And the things he said, like that he had helped more black people than, all these rhino and, left-wing people. Like he had done more for them than any of those people had.
Yeah.
Because all they are is hot air and talk. And here we're going to promise you a bunch of handouts that'll just basically drive you further into that state.
Yeah, he said that about that disgusting woman who put out some disgusting statements against him and in pretending to care about the Republican Party, the GOP female chairman, Ronna McDaniel, who multiple times accused him of white supremacy, which is just a total boogeyman. Give me a break. First of all, this is a free country. You can be what you want to be. Second of all, he's not even really I don't think that he's particularly really into the white thing. He's like, yes, we were Anglos. This is America. But he's like...
It seemed like he was into logic.
Yeah.
And like making English the American language, like, of course, like, come on. Like
there's this false...
80% of the country speaks English, so it just makes sense that everybody should speak the same language for inclusion.
That's for unity. Right.
Yeah, so everybody can be included, not, there was 12 people speaking Spanish.
It's good for the Spanish speakers to learn English and for the Chinese to learn English.
Like, you don't want to go in a store. Like, I've met a lot of people, like, where I live that don't speak English, and, like, they feel like outcasts. You can tell that they feel, like, almost ashamed that they can't speak English, that they're kind of, like, having to wait for someone else to, like, help them out, tell them things. They can't order food at a restaurant. They're just like, and and they make them appear to be uneducated. I mean, they may be.
Yeah.
A lot of them are actually pretty smart, but it gives them the impression that they're uneducated, and they're treated as such.
First world problems sliding into second world, which is communism. Evil. What a mess.
But yeah, I thought that was a really good interview that you did with him. I enjoyed that. I'd never heard of him, so it was really cool to kind of see a politician that that has those kind of views.
That's cool.
I'm so used to seeing the rhinos and the disgusting left.
Right. Are you anywhere? Do you ever see anything related to illegal aliens in your town or all that stuff?
I mean, I'm in North Texas, so I mean, I know there's plenty, and like they were busting them in during the COVID vaccine, because we had my city had we had a ample, I guess, supply, or maybe we had an ample amount of people that were not interested in getting it. So they were like people coming from the border. They were like flying them in from the border and busing them in from the border, and some of them were leaving, and some of them were staying, living here and trying to, looking for, I guess, positions, and probably moving more to the north and moving to where they have family and things like that. But
yeah,
they were paying tax dollars to get those people up here to get them vaccinated, and then whatever from there. They're like, all right, see you.
Right.
I don't know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We don't have the problems that they have, definitely not like on the border towns have, like
right,
where we're having people walking into their lands. Like, that's not really around here.
But they are, you're right.
I
mean, they are all over the country. I remember being surprised to see, they're up in Seattle, they're up in Portland, they're up in all over the place in South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever I visited. I can't keep the Carolinas straight. I have
Especially
horrible.
like Oregon and Washington with like the marijuana trade there. Like that's really like that supplies those illegals, lots of job opportunities and lots of, things like that where they're able to, work for cash doing jobs that are, in that field that are fairly difficult and cartel related. So, there's a lot of like that type of business.
Yeah. Man.
Not so much, I wouldn't think, on the East Coast.
Right.
Because
but they're there too. I remember there was an illegal who was over 18 going to some high school, and then he was accused of rape or something. I don't even know if it was true, of a younger Hispanic girl, but maybe American or something, at this school. Yeah. And I don't know if it was real rape or a statutory rape or if it was a false accusation or what, but he was an illegal. And it was one of those that was dispersed under the Obama administration because they, like you said, bust and flew them around the country.
Yeah, and that's kind of like here. There is I would say we probably have maybe 5% of the city I live in would be illegals, and wow. they stay out of trouble. They're not
right. They keep a low profile. They drive slowly.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. They do everything by the book to try and avoid any imperial altercations. So they're just like they're trying to avoid, and you don't see them often except for like when they're in their field, in their job that they do. Like you may come across them at a restaurant for lunch with a big group of them.
Yep.
Like usually they'll have citizens with them to keep them safe and keep them speak for them and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I have a girl that works for me that's married to a fellow that he doesn't speak English, and I don't ever ask because it's really not my business. But I don't ask her if he's legal or illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect because he doesn't speak English that he's not new. He's not old to this country, that's for sure.
Wow. What a mess.
Not a second generation. Most second generation Hispanics speak English, whether they're illegal or not.
Right. Yep. Well, I appreciate it, Bobby. It's great to hear from you. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, good to talk to you. And one last thing, I am a fan of the show. Just
nice.
In case you were, I noticed you were. I think he's a fan of the show. I am a fan of the show.
No, I was saying I think you're a friend of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a fan of that too.
Nice.
Fan and friend.
Cool, man.
Great show. All right. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Thanks again, Bobby. Have a nice weekend.
You too.
All right. Take care. Before I get back to calls, let me tell you, did I give you Senator Tom Cotton? I gave this to JLP. Senator Tom Cotton, it's just a picture of his his Facebook post a year ago, June 19th. And according to Bobby, even Trump was trying to push this. Trump was going to have a Tulsa rally. Remember that Tulsa rally? I think it was the first rally after the shutdowns, even amid the shutdowns. Anyway, June 19th, Friday, 2020. Senator Tom Cotton, whom I kind of like oftentimes. Sometimes, let's say. I know people who really respect him. I know some who don't. But they don't talk much about him because he's really not the worst. Anyway, he said, Juneteenth, former military guy, is a reminder of America's triumph over the evil of slavery. Oh, come on. We've traded I guess it was evil. I mean, there were evil aspects that happened, I guess. I don't know if slavery was inherently evil, was it? I mean, it's not ideal. Anyway, part of a long struggle. Life was tougher back then. We didn't know what it was like. Anyway, he says, part of a long struggle to live up to our nation's most noble idea that all men are created equal. Doesn't mean they can't become slaves. Anyway, America is a fundamentally good country, he claims. But there's still work to be done. His truth is marching on. And that's supposedly a reference to God. But I'm like, there is no more to be done. What do you mean there's still work to be done? That's what the liberals have been saying forever. Now you have rhinos saying it, and this guy's not even the worst of the worst rhinos. But and I want to like this guy too. But we need to undo a lot of this stuff, is the problem. More work to be done. Hake with the rebuttal. So yeah, a year ago, Trump held that rally, and they were saying, oh, Trump the super spreader, because a lot of boomers went and stuff like that, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it's just very interesting. You know, there's this, I call him a center-left guy, but generally pro-America, really. Journalist and activist, he's made films. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, on The Fallen State. Mike Cernovich, he pointed out that all this Juneteenth stuff, it was not a focus until Trump scheduled the rally for that day. And then he, according to New York Slimes, moved the Tulsa rally date back in June 2020 to the next day, on Saturday. He held it on Saturday instead of Friday, out of respect for so-called Juneteenth. But Tulsa is in Oklahoma. It's not any... Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Tulsa, Oklahoma is anywhere near, Galveston, Texas? Am I right? Is Galveston where the Juneteenth thing happened? Galveston, Texas to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's see. It looks like quite a ways. Yes, indeed. 8 hours and 47 minutes via the Interstate 45 and US 75 North. That's a long drive. Galveston is way down on the coast. Tulsa is north latitudinally, if you believe in the ball-tarred earth. Or I think the flat earth people still believe in latitude, right? Maybe. It's north of Los Angeles. It might even be north of Las Vegas. So anyway, why do you have to postpone it? The Juneteenth is only for Galveston people if they want to, maybe. I wouldn't hold it against people with generations in Galveston, I guess, to celebrate this June blah blah mess. But anyway. Wikipedia, by the way, they have an old article on the 2020 Trump Tulsa rally. It was big because the mainstream media smeared it. The Boston Globe is saying Juneteenth holiday is symbolic. Don't confuse it with racial justice. Cernovich pointed out Obama didn't install this thing. Didn't try to get that into a holiday. And by the way, the black conservatives who are okay with this or happy with this, they're missing the point. Because the point is pandering. That's all it is. And it's not all it is, actually. It is, as some of you guys pointed out, an attack on America, on whites. Because this is pushed by the worst people, among other things. June blah blah. It's ridiculous. And this Opal Lee, you are an incredible woman. Always a woman pushing this mess. But there are some ridiculous blacks who push the MLK thing being a holiday. It seemed like I saw footage of, I guess, Ronald Reagan signing MLK Day into a law. You know, MLK becoming a day. That was pushed by black radicals in the Congress and stuff. Give me a break. And he's like, oh, I don't know. We'll find out whether he was a communist or not. He seemed like he was kind of only grudgingly signing it into a holiday. I wish you would have vetoed it. That would have been awesome. Wouldn't that have been based? I still like Reagan, I guess. Hake-teenth. Tulsa's like 10 hours away. Yeah, Brandon M. Correct. Speaking of ridiculous, I got to get to... No, hold on. I'll put off some ridiculousness for now. I got to spread out the ridiculousness. Hang tight, Tony in California. I'll get to you soon. I got to get to Ben in Maryland. Ben has an interesting question. How are you doing, man? Thanks for holding. Ben?
What's up, James Hake of the Hake Report?
Not much, man. It's great to hear from you.
Amazing. So, yeah, my question was basically like, before you discovered all this Jesse Peterson, would you consider yourself a Bible thumper?
Yeah. And actually, even a little bit to this day, I haven't shaken it completely. I'm still a little intellectual.
To this day.
So I get sucked into these intellectual arguments I notice, way easier than JLP, who just gets to the root of the issue. So, yeah, I was and am a Bible thumper, although I never really just outright rejected stuff that sounded like stuff I hadn't really heard about focused on in the Bible, that other people get hung up on, who are a little bit more hardcore or closed-minded of Bible thumpers. I was a Bible thumper, but I had my eyes a little bit cracked open already.
Like, why you hung on, they were kind of dogmatic in a sense?
I don't know if it's a white thing or if it's just a sort of a weaker human being thing to get into trying to figure out your problems and read and, this is going to renew my mind. Reading the Bible is going to renew my mind and heart and stuff like that. I have to get it from the head knowledge down to the heart knowledge, that type of stuff. But I was really into reading the Bible, and I could point out ways that Jesse's stuff that Jesse said is completely biblical. I knew it right away that it was. And it also rang true, though, separate from the Bible. You just can plainly see a lot of this stuff is plainly true. But yeah, I was into, I'll get sucked into arguments with people about what the Bible says because a lot of the Bible thumpers, they take positions that are actually against what the Bible says. So that's a temptation for me to start telling, that's not even what the Bible says. You're saying stuff that's not even in the Bible, pretending that Jesse's disputing the Bible when it's actually you. So I get sucked into that stuff sometimes.
I mean, the debates are fun, though, aren't they?
They are. Yeah, they are. True. You just don't want to get your pride involved or your ego, because people get sucked into an ego battle. And debates are cool, but they don't change people's heart unless they're ready to hear the truth.
I mean, yeah, I understand. We kind of just come from a position of wanting to win the debate.
Right. You should be wanting to not necessarily win a debate, but just tell the truth.
So I guess, you're not a Trinitarian anymore?
I was never particularly a Trinitarian. When I was really into reading the Bible, I was like, because I would hear every now and then the claim that Jesus is God. And I never really, I would use Jesus and God sometimes interchangeably, but I never thought, Jesus is God. I would hear that in a couple of the Christian songs I used to listen to. But from what I read, it remained inconclusive. And it actually was a question that troubled me when I was in college.
Because, like, the Trinitarians kind of have, like, a monopoly on Christianity.
They sure seem to nowadays, huh? And that's interesting because it wasn't so explicit. Oh, you have to believe Jesus is God. Otherwise, you're denying Jesus. That's not denying Jesus. Denying Jesus means denying that he was the Christ or that he was the Messiah. That's what denying Jesus is. And also, the denying Jesus is when you don't actually believe what he says. You pretend to love him, but you go on sinning, even though he said stop sinning and stuff like that. That's actually denying Jesus. Anyway, yeah, it is interesting how there's a false version of Christianity that's so weak, so kiss-up, so intellectual and empty and vapid that has taken over. The mainstream, the establishment of everything seems corrupt nowadays. So it's a big mess.
Just a final question.
Yeah.
What is your, opinion on the statement that many people say Jesus is Lord, bro? Like, they keep saying it, right? Kind of keep pushing it.
Keep saying that Jesus is Lord?
Yeah, but, like, I know that's basically them just kind of wanting to say...
That's fine to call him Lord because calling somebody Lord, that's an old school way of, like, a master or whatever.
Yeah, but
that's
they
different
kind of
from
use
God.
it in the sense of, like, a synonym for God.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
yeah. And I always used it that way, too. I knew that there was a distinction, whether it was all caps in the Bible that I was reading or not all caps. So I don't really have a big opinion on it, honestly.
I guess, like, definitions just change over time for that, then.
Yeah, people start to make assumptions about what they read. It's kind of like what our discussion on the Jesse Lee Peterson show between the experts and Jesse about the third eye thing. People hear something that Jesse Lee Peterson or somebody else says or the Bible says, and they jump to conclusions. They assume something that's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely reasonable.
How old are you, Ben?
Yo, I'm an adult, man.
Nice. Right on.
Just made it.
Oh, right on. Well, happy
Right on the line.
birthday. Congratulations.
Amazing.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
You moving out?
Pot. No, not yet.
Okay. Better do it.
No, I know. I will.
I mean, you should. Do you want to?
Yeah, I want that sense of independence.
Yeah. It's so nice, man. You'll like it. You said you smoke pot?
Huh?
Did you say that you smoke pot?
No, I'm just saying
good.
that it's possible in some states now for me, right?
Oh, yeah. Age 18, you can buy cigarettes and stuff like that.
Oh, no, that's was it restricted to 21 years old now in Maryland?
Oh, okay. Wow. That's funny. They get overprotective of on some stuff and then encourage people to go hog wild with the sex and all that madness at a younger and younger age. Pretty sick.
Yep, it's disgusting because they used to offer condoms for free at my high school, bro. That's just insane.
Yeah. I've heard over in Los Angeles here, there were black preachers who were handing out condoms at churches in the 90s. So it's been a long decline. Are you Hispanic?
Yeah. Huh?
Are you
Yeah.
Hispanic? I don't know how I could tell. I'm not sure how I could
Yeah,
tell.
how could you? I don't know. You got some psychic. You got what did they call it? Apostolic gifts or something like that?
Oh gosh, no, I don't think that's apostolic gifts. I think that's just maybe I have a good ear for people's dialect. Except one time I called a lady Hispanic and turned out she was Jamaican. I only know Hispanic people, so every time somebody has any type of an accent, I'll assume they're Hispanic.
Dang, I didn't know I had an accent. I learn something new every day.
It might not even be your accent. It might just be the way, your personality and the quality of your voice. The timbre. Timbre is like the tone color or something like that. Yeah. I don't know that tones have colors, but that's something that I learned in college. Hake has a race radar.
If you ask me.
Cool, man. Well, it's great to hear from you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Are you a
man.
Bible thumper? Were you ever a Bible thumper?
Yeah, I was a Bible thumper.
So have you switched from being a Bible thumper to a Jesse thumper? Do you thump Jesse's stuff to people, or are you just chill right now?
Just chill. I mean, I don't
Nice.
know if I'm like a full Christian yet because I haven't gone and forgive, right? And that's like a big part. So.
Do you know yourself as resenting anybody in your parents or anything?
I mean, I guess resent. I mean, I guess we all have it, even if it's just subconscious, right? So.
Well, if you notice it, that's when you should do it. If you don't notice it, don't just do it just because somebody else said it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, cool, Ben. It's great to... How long you been listening?
The Hake Report?
Either one. Yeah, the Hake Report.
I listened to Jesse, August or July of last year. That's when it started.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, and then you were like in January.
Nice. Well, I appreciate it. Is this your first time calling my show, or have we talked before?
Nah, we talked multiple times before.
Okay. I felt like that. Cool, man.
Amazing. All right.
Have a nice weekend, Ben.
The Hake Report. You
All
too,
right.
man.
Take care. By the way, guys, make sure you do catch Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Lin Yan Chin says, the second language in Jamaica is Spanish. We Jamaicans speak it poorly, according to the Hispanics I met. All right. See? Okay. She might have had a little bit of a Spanish accent, that Jamaican lady, mixed into her Jamaican accent. Could be. We are coming up to the top of the hour. Before I get back to calls, Tony, I'm coming to you next. Appreciate your patience, man. Hang tight. I will be reading any super chats, guys. Appreciate the support. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Justice Clarence Thomas and this Obamacare ruling. Just to clarify, because Mays pointed out that Justice Thomas sided with the liberals to let the, against the states that were suing against Obamacare. I will clarify that, hopefully. But anyway, this is another Menomena track. It's not a song, no singing on it. Yes, it is an instrumental. Actually, I kind of honestly prefer their instrumentals. They're more like normal sounding. I like the vibe that goes with them. They're older. A lot of times, people's older stuff is better. This is called Crunka by Menomena. Enjoy, and I'll be back in just 2 or 3 minutes here. Hang tight for hour 2, coming right up. Hake, are you taking the chat for a wash? Asks Meave. Yes. I video recorded a car wash. Yes, I washed my car. Is that the DMT car wash? No, Doom Jesus, we do not do drugs here. Drug-free class of 99. Is this Allahu Akbar music? Asks PJ909. Instrumentals are nice. Singing is just words without melody. Or with melody. I don't know. Thank you, Mike Gibson. Please, I can't do music today. What's up, Jeanette? Nice to see you. Shout out to Jib Jab, and it's the ayahuasca car wash. What are you guys talking about? No, I'm kidding. Dr. ADD says, not just the Bible, the Quran also tracked what the sky did. Also, it did mention catastrophic flood followed the moon's arrival. Wow. Interesting. Okay, guys. Quickly, before I get to Tony coming up next. Clearly unconstitutional. 2 justices, Samuel Alito, who I say I have conceded he's probably pretty solid as well. I always say there's one true justice, and that's Clarence Thomas. But Samuel Alito seems okay, right? He seems maybe even better than okay. He and, who was it, Gorsuch? Wanted the Supreme Court to rule in favor of the states, right? The 18 Republican-led states who were challenging this federal so-called health care, really health insurance meddling law, forcing people to do all kinds of mess. I heard that back in, 2015 or 2012, Thomas was dissenting. Justice Clarence Thomas was dissenting against Obamacare. Just FYI. So he didn't just change his mind. I'm going to explain it. The Supreme Court the other day ruled 7-2 that the plaintiffs, 18 Republican-led states, lacked the standing to challenge Obamacare, which suckers like to pretend is the Affordable Care Act. Give me a break. Nothing about it is that. It's not affordable. It's not about actual care. It's not about the just kind of care anyway. And it's an act of war on America. You lose freedoms thanks to Obamacare. Obama doesn't care. Romney doesn't care. The states had wanted the Supreme Court to overturn the law because the individual mandate was set to 0 by our real President Trump. And then they said that the entire law was unconstitutional. Justice Stephen Breyer, though, wrote the majority opinion against against those states. He was joined by Sonia Sotomayor. Can you imagine we have a woman named Sonia, and I use the term loosely, a female named Sonia Sotomayor in the so-called Supreme Court, acting as a judge or a justice. Another woman named Elena Kagan, E-L-E-N-A, Kagan, female. Disgraceful. Thanks, Obama. Not. John Roberts, the rhino, the total rhino. Clarence Thomas, whom I like anyway, regardless of this opinion. I don't know if I agree or disagree with him. Amy Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, the 2 weaklings. Gorsuch was against this. Amy Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh were Trump appointees. Alito, in his dissent, described today's decision as the 3rd installment in our epic Affordable Care Act trilogy. He said the decision follows in the same pattern as installments 1 and 2. In all 3 episodes with the Affordable Care Act facing a serious threat, the court has pulled off an improbable rescue. Texas and the other state plaintiffs have standing because the 7 so-called justices, one of them is a real justice, Thomas, said that they didn't have standing. He said now the quote-unquote tax imposed by the individual mandate is set at $0. The mandate cannot be sustained under the taxing power. As a result, it is clearly unconstitutional, and to the extent that the provisions of the ACA, Obamacare, that burden the states are inextricably linked to the individual mandate, they too are unenforceable. The Justice Alito, the decent one of the decent ones, added the Supreme Court was presented with the daunting problem of defining the individual mandate, which the same court redefined in 2012 as a quote-unquote tax. And that was, I believe, John Roberts, the rhino. The lower courts mostly sided with the Republican states but agreed to delay enforcement while the appeals process continued. Defenders of Obamacare, which comprised about 20 Democrat-led states and the House of Representatives, had also appealed to the Supreme Court. Instead of defending the constitutionality of the individual mandate, he said, the court simply ducks the issue and holds that none of the act's challengers, including the 18 states that think the act saddles them with a huge financial cost, is entitled to sue, even though they're directly hurt by it. What a disgrace. Anyway, Justice Thomas, considered one of the most conservative justices, if not the most, he wrote in a concurring opinion that the plaintiffs in the case hadn't shown that they were injured. They hadn't shown that they were injured by the individual coverage mandate and therefore wouldn't give them the standing to file the lawsuit. As a result, according to him, he joined the majority. Whatever, Justice Thomas. You're acting too fair, maybe. Of course, his vote wasn't the deciding factor. If it's 7-2, whatever. I don't know. But injustice ruling in the country, right? Mama spirit. Oh, let's take care of people. And let's control the people. Let's encourage them to... Yes, indeed, Obamacare included so-called the pill. Birth control. It's the last thing we need. We need white babies. Sick. But I still like Justice Thomas. You will never get me to not love Justice Thomas, Clarence Thomas. Let me talk to Tony in California. How are you doing, Tony?
Good morning. How are you doing, Hank?
Doing fine. Appreciate
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's a good day in America.
it. Why do you say that?
Because the government has passed the Juneteenth holiday.
Oh,
and,
you're easy to please. You're easy to sucker.
Well, you call it as you please. I mean, I understand there's haters in every aspect of America.
Of course, because the haters passed Juneteenth.
Well, the thing is, sir,
it's a hater day. It's not a holiday. There's nothing. Holiday stands for holy day. There's nothing holy about Juneteenth, at least not nowadays.
What's holy about Halloween?
You people.
About Easter?
Easter is Jesus' rising from the dead day. That's Resurrection Sunday.
Prove it. Show me some evidence.
I don't need to.
That's right, because it's all beliefs. It's all make-believe.
It's reality.
Okay, well, that's the same thing.
Juneteenth is make-believe.
Okay, now that's the real deal.
Nope, it's long past. It's long gone. You're based in California, or at least from California. So you're nowhere near Galveston, Texas, sucker.
But I'm black, brother.
That's irrelevant.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
In your eyes it is, and your heart it definitely is. Because you got hatred in your heart.
No.
But the thing is, it's reality.
You have hatred in your heart.
You have to deal with it.
Your heart is what's black.
Because America is changing.
Changing for the worse. Indeed it is. Changing into hatred and kissing up to black hatred. That's what it is.
That's what the Indians said about whites. That's what the blacks said.
What did they say?
Whites.
What did the Indians say about whites?
They are taking over our country and our land.
They didn't have a country.
The
Indians did not have a country.
They did. Well, they had land.
They might have had land, but they did not have a country.
Okay, that's okay.
That's not okay.
Land. It's their land.
No, it's not. It's our land.
Your ancestors stole it.
Nope. We rightfully took it.
Pay for it.
We paid much. We paid a lot for it.
Yeah, you did by stealing it.
Nuh-uh.
Going
We
to
paid
war.
in lives and money.
That's what I'm saying. You went to war and you stole it.
No, that's not.
You
War is
lied.
not stealing. War
The
is
same
not
thing-
stealing.
The same
Hey,
lie
hey,
you did
Tony.
with the
Hey,
Indians,
Tony.
what?
Tony,
Yes.
get it through your thick head.
Okay,
War,
come on.
war,
Come on, son.
war is not stealing.
It's not.
Nope. War
When you
is
come-
war,
When you come in peace,
which the
and
whites
then you
did.
turn around and put blankets that gave them
You,
smallpox.
you don't even know if that story is true. You don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, man. Come on, now.
Come on, man.
Stop all the shenanigans, bro.
You're the ones with the shenanigans.
100.
Juneteenth is a shenanigan.
Can you keep it 100?
June blah blah is a shenanigan.
I understand you don't want change in America because the white man is fading away.
Have you migrated from the children's library to the adult nonfiction library?
Okay, whatever.
Did you know
But
that
the
the
thing
Bible is nonfiction and nonfiction means true?
Okay, well, in your eyes it is.
Yeah.
The thing is, until I see evidence.
You don't care
some
about
type of
evidence?
writing- some type of writing on the wall that's saying that all this is true.
I have
You can
writing
ha-
on the wall of my laptop that says
Okay,
from
okay,
Hydro.
wonderful.
I have a super
Okay.
chat. And the
Okay.
writing on his on this
Let me ask you this
Streamlabs
then.
wall says, hold on.
Can I ask
Tony
you this?
you asked for evidence. Tony is the evidence. The black males have the nature of women. Thank you,
Okay.
Hydro, with the Streamlabs super chat.
In order for you to know.
So you have a
man
nature
has
of women,
of
Tony.
woman, we all got natures of women because we came through a woman. to
Oh
begin
my gosh.
with. So,
Who's
so-
we
so
all?
put
How many
you,
people are you?
Everything
I'm
that's
not.
human. Everything that's human, it came through a woman.
Wow, you're gross.
Okay, shut. You know what up there? don't come with that
The small
bull to me.
Hold on.
What?
Brandon M says the
Brandon
small
M.
Yeah.
Sucker
Brandon
F-
M put you in your place a couple of days ago.
FB. Who else coming, man? Who else coming? Can
He
I-
says
can I
over there
call?
on trovo.live/the Hake Report,
Oh.
the smallpox blanket theory was created, according to Brandon M., by Howard Zinn, the communist. He's dead now.
Oh.
His son is
Okay.
trying to push the madness along with a whole bunch of other communists. There is
And I
no
guess
evidence. There is no evidence of blankets with smallpox.
And I guess the.
Thank you. Show me
okay.
the evidence. Show me the
You know
evidence.
what they- man, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Thank
man.
you.
I mean,
Thank you.
y'all promising one thing and turn around and did something else. The same thing you would.
Same thing with the Indian. That's why they
40
call it an
40
Indian
acres.
giving.
And 40 acres in the mule was.
You ever heard of
was a
Indian giver?
shenanigan too.
Hey, Tony, you ever heard of Indian giver?
Yeah, I heard of what.
That means that there was shenanigans, or at least we didn't understand their culture, where they gave us something,
but they-
expecting something, and then they asked for it back, and so we didn't. I don't know. We started the Indian giver thing, according to lore that I heard.
And I understand what the hell white folks did. But the
Wow,
thing
you almost got really filthy with Brandon M. Wow.
Well, look, here, bro.
Don't be
The thing
vulgar.
the thing is this.
Don't be vulgar, Tony.
Understand the world is changing. You don't like it because it's not that you in control of it, but
I've
People
never
of
been in
color-
control of the world, Tony.
people of color.
Tony,
is
hey,
taking
Tony,
over
hey, Tony.
America.
Tony,
Yeah.
I have never been in control of the world.
Well, the thing is,
I'm watching the world go from halfway decent or 1/4 of the way decent to all evil.
okay.
And you're celebrating it because
was-
you're a sucker for evil.
It was evil when you came through that womb, and it will be evil when they lay your butt in the grave. So
Okay.
let's deal with it. Okay?
Thank you, Tony.
Let's deal with it.
All right.
But the thing is,
You don't know
change
if I'm
is
dying.
here. Well,
I
you know
rebuke
what?
that.
Like-
Cancel
like
those
my
words in the
daddy
name of
always
Jesus.
Said, keep on laying down and getting up. You gonna see death.
Is that a threat?
No, that's the truth. It's something
You
won't-
wouldn't
that
know
y'all don't
truth
deal
if it
with.
slapped you in the face, Tony.
That's the truth.
You're a joke.
Something
You
that
got
you don't
issues.
Understand.
You have issues.
And you know one thing? Everything breathing got an issue.
No,
So-
you
so-
got
so-
serious
so-
issues.
so-
You got to check
so-
yourself.
And you know what thing? Why do Republicans
This is
do
the
all
same
that money,
man-
all them millions of dollars away?
This is the same man, I put him on hold, who sent 40 emails. And I'm just underestimating, probably. Jay says, play some Pink Floyd today. I got to read some super chats, guys. This is the same man who sent like 40 emails in 5 minutes. He has issues. This is like serious.
Hello.
Yeah,
Are you there?
I just brought you
Are
back on.
there? Hello. Are you there?
Yep.
How many times you would try to smear my name on emails that y'all never showed because y'all was scared to put it on y'all show?
Are you pretending that you didn't send those crazy emails like a crazy man?
They was not nasty, vulgar emails, so stop lying.
No, I'm
emails
talking
on
about
the
like a crazy man.
I sent emails to you because I wanted
40
you to
in
put them on the
5
show.
minutes.
That's a lie right there. It took 6 days to do that.
No, you sent a bunch, a slew.
In 6 days? Yes.
Nuh-uh, not just 6 days. Multiple.
Okay, look. Why you jumping to something else where you don't want to hear the truth come out of my mouth about
You
Obama
don't tell the truth. You come on here every day that you call, you lie. You're a liar.
Can we talk
and
about
you have
Obamacare?
never apologized for your lies.
Can we talk about Obamacare?
You have never apologized. You did not call about Obamacare. You called about June blah blah.
You're not my mother, okay? So I'm not gonna apologize to you for nothing. You talking about apologize like I swear.
Are you saying that you've apologized to your mother for hating her?
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
You said that that I'm not your mother, so you will not apologize to me for anything.
No. I wouldn't.
You're a shameless liar.
I apologize to my mother for plenty of things that I did wrong. I took responsibility for my actions.
Oh, okay. Big man.
She brought me in this world and raised me and brought me up as a gentleman. She did her job, so I ain't got to tell her I forgive her for nothing, like them suckers on your show and Just Lee show.
Oh yeah, they're the suckers. Yeah, they're the suckers.
Why would you
getting their lives together, and they're the suckers. You call into this show and lie every time you come in. And they're the suckers.
Brought these people in the world, and they go talk about I want you to apologize to me.
The mother did not bring the child into the world.
They did.
God did that.
Who brought him in the world then?
God did. Whom you do not even believe in.
Through who? The mother.
And the father. Through the father to the mother.
No, we're looking
on loan from the father.
How did you get here? You came through
from my
your
father.
Mother's womb.
Nope, from my father.
You came through your father's butthole?
Tony is banned again. Tony is banned. Tony, he whack. Sorry about that, kids. I probably should have known to hang up on him earlier. What a mess. Tony, you are banned. That's the second time Tony's been banned. Gross. Tony is a certified sucker, says Corbra Coy 99 with the Trovo colorful chat. Indeed, he is. Indeed. Wow. Before I get back to calls, hang tight, guys. Hang tight. I have an update on the McCloskeys. The McCloskeys, honestly, I don't particularly trust them. I like the picture of them defending their home. I don't know much about them. I know that they appeared at the RNC, which honestly makes me kind of not trust them. Because people who appear at the RNC, Republican National Convention, doesn't banned mean forever, Hake? Yeah, he's banned until further notice. He's banned until further notice. He doesn't apologize, right? At one time, I think he did apologize, though, and then he was unbanned. So he lied about that, because he has apologized before. He got vulgar with me once before. I banned him, and he called back apologizing. And I accepted the apology, and I think I hung up on him after that. But maybe that was Earl. Anyway, Mark and Patricia McCloskeys, according to the Epoch Times, just a quick update on this. They pleaded guilty to charges, and they're going to surrender their guns. Wow. Shocking, kind of, a little bit. According to the Epoch Times, the St. Louis couple who were seen holding firearms as BLM activists, Black Lives Matter activists, approached their home, pleaded guilty to several misdemeanor charges, and surrendered their guns. Mark McCloskeys, who's a lawyer, which makes me not trust him, because lawyers are often liars. Not always. Pleaded guilty to a Class C misdemeanor. By the way, this guy's running for office, I think. 4th-degree assault. Excuse me, the BLM people who came on their property should be the ones charged with assault. But anyways, his wife, Patricia McCloskeys, pleaded guilty to a Class A misdemeanor of 2nd-degree harassment. Harassment? The BLM people should be accused of harassment, not her. They will pay maximum fines of $2,000 and $750, respectively, I guess. They will not serve any jail time. Most notably, however, the two will be forced to forfeit the weapons they were holding when they confronted BLM protesters, agitators, they're not protesters, communists, enemies of America who need to be deported or in jail or both, who were marching near their home I was thinking the BLM people are suckers. Last summer was a sucker. On Thursday evening, following the guilty pleas, Mark McCloskeys told Newsmax why the couple pleaded the way they did. Prosecutors dropped all the felony charges, all the gun charges, and charged me with a crime, he said, that said I purposely placed other people in apprehension of imminent fear of physical injury, and by God, I did it. That's what Mark McCloskeys said. Fair enough, I guess. But not fair. Let's be honest. Still a joke. That's what the Second Amendment was there for. And I couldn't say no to that one, he said. That's what the guns were for. The guns were to scare people off and make sure they didn't approach us. That's what the guns did, he said. The two have claimed in media interviews that the protesters were trespassing, and indeed they were. They broke a fence. They broke a gate. Noted the Black Lives Matter, allegedly. Black Lives Matter protesters in St. Louis and other cities have committed arson and engaged in acts of violence. A couple previously pleaded not guilty and were slated to go on trial in November this year. BLM protesters told them that they were going to kill us, said Patricia McCloskeys last year. They were going to come in here. They were going to burn down the house, she said, recalling what the demonstrators said. And you know what? I don't disbelieve her. I don't know if I believe her, but I certainly wouldn't put it past these agitators to say stuff like this. She went on. They were going to be living in our house after I was dead, and they were pointing to different rooms and said, this is going to be my bedroom, and that's going to be the living room, and I'm going to take a shower in that room, they said, according to her. Richard Callahan is a local prosecutor. He said that he alleged that some of their claims were unfounded. There was no evidence that any of the protesters, agitators, rioters, had a weapon, and no one I interviewed realized that they had ventured into a private enclave, according to him and according to them. That's what he said in a statement on Thursday. What a joke. Putin is right about this. America has no place accusing Putin of political persecutions. Free Chauvin, says Brenda Brower. Brenda Brower. Yeah, Derek Chauvin. They tore the gate down, according to When It Rains. Terrible stuff. Let me read I already read that one from Hydro. Shout out to Hydro. Thank you for the support. Let me get to T in Alabama. He has an interesting question. T, how are you doing?
Doing fine, man. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, man, you know, you've been talking so long, so I forgot. What was my question, man? I lost my train of thought.
The meaning of love.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You know, I was glad to see you sort of admit that you don't know what love is, right? That you don't, you know.
You do listen to the Jesse Lee Peterson show.
Well, you know, like I said, I listen to you guys, so when I come at you,
it's a reference to. It's a reference. To, you end up lying either way, but
no,
you haven't lied yet. You haven't lied yet. It's not what I said.
Yeah.
So whatever. But it is interesting that you listen to the JLP show. He's referencing something that I said on the Jesse Lee Peterson show during the expert segments. Jesse was asking us, the experts, Jesse Lee Peterson's experts,
Yeah, and I want to make
whether
a
we
point
have
about
unconditional love or whether
Right.
God has unconditional love.
that. And I want to make a point about that. Okay, like I said, when I listen to you guys, so when I sort of combat y'all lies, I want to make sure I'm not lying about you. Okay.
That's
the
what
reason I
the
listen to
Pharisees tried to do to Jesus too. They listened closely to him and tried to catch him and entrap him.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Also, since you brought that up, why was Jesus crucified, James?
In order to, he died for our sins.
Why did the Pharisees want him crucified?
He threatened their power because the people loved him more than them.
Okay. No, you
kind of
like
Trump. Kind of like Trump. The establishment hates Trump
Well,
because we the people love Trump, and we can see Trump is real and fairly trustworthy, and not them. So just
you
like
guys
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're comparing Trump to Jesus.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Brothers.
Okay.
They
I'm
are
gonna pray for
brothers.
you, man.
Donald
Okay.
Trump is Jesus' little brother.
Okay. I'm gonna say this, man. And like I said, you guys and y'all constantly talk about there's only love and hate, right? Okay. So you don't know if you love or if you really hate folks, right?
Right.
Since you don't know what love is.
Right.
So so you possibly do.
I think I
folks,
said I
right?
don't know if I have love. Something like that.
So if you ain't got love, you got hate, right?
Right.
According to your teacher, your learner.
He is
right?
not my teacher. Only the Holy Spirit is the teacher.
Okay. So
that's in the
let me ask
Bible.
you. All right.
So
that unconditional love-
JLP is not a teacher. Just clarify that.
Okay.
See, you do
Okay, all right,
be lying.
Okay, James. Let me.
All
so, in regards to that question, unconditional love. Okay.
Yeah.
And I constantly hear, and I hate even bring his name up, but I constantly hear
You don't hate to
boss.
bring his name up. You bring his name up every single time.
Well, anyway, let me just say this. Okay. He says that
because you're banned from the show and you're too proud to apologize for being wrong. Okay, go ahead.
No, for being wrong. I'd like to say anyway. He said he loves everyone, right?
Yes.
Okay. But yet he believes in unconditional. No, he believes in conditional love, right?
Yeah, that means that you treat people differently based on what their actions call for.
So that means that unless they meet your conditions, you don't love them, right?
Not true. That's
not
what that means.
So, I mean,
that's not what that means.
What does it mean, James? Explain that to me.
That means you love your enemies, but you do right. You do right. You don't say, "Oh, you can come into the kingdom of heaven, you sinner."
You say
Georgia, Florida belongs.
Love.
Georgia, Florida should have this big, huge statue in Newark, New Jersey. That's unconditional love.
So what?
Georgia, Florida should have a big, huge statue in, is it Newark, New Jersey? That is unconditional love.
What's
satanic.
Georgia, Florida? What's that?
The man who, and I use the term man very loosely, allegedly, he was so out of his mind high on
you talking
fentanyl
about George Floyd?
that he tried to pass a bill twice. It was so bad that apparently the store owners called the cops. If the store owners are calling the cops,
Floyd, right?
If the store owners, let me just go on this slight rant. If the store owners are calling the cops in Minneapolis, I think the crime is reasonably serious. It's a reasonable concern that the cops should be coming and showing up on the scene and apprehending the suspect. Just FYI.
Okay, yeah, y'all just won't let that George Floyd go, won't you? Y'all just really hurt that.
Y'all are the ones who are building the big old statue.
I don't build it up, man. I ain't building that.
You support the statue?
Don't put me in that.
You support that statue?
That's I don't believe in graven images. Okay.
Nice.
Like you guys. Now I'm quite sure you would love.
All right, I apologize. So it wasn't y'all. It wasn't y'all,
okay.
Tony. I mean,
T. I don't believe in that. Don't the Bible speak about that?
Right.
Okay. But with Donald Trump, you'll be happy about that. They'll put that up there, right?
He should go on Mount Rushmore. Yes.
Okay. See, but anyway, so in regards to conditional love means what?
I don't know either. You're messing.
Well, no,
you're
I mean,
acting like
you
a
know what-
lawyer/liar, as
I'm
Chris
just
pointed
asking
out.
you- No, James. I'm
Skateboard
just
white
asking you a
Chris
question, man.
pointed it out. It's just love. It's not conditional or unconditional. It's just love.
Okay. So y'all don't believe, or Chris or whoever,
Yeah.
Jesse says he don't believe in unconditional love, right? So that means that he don't love everybody.
That does not mean that.
Right.
That does not mean
Yes,
that.
it does, James.
No, it doesn't.
Why can't you admit that, man?
Because unconditional
I mean,
love is
seriously.
not actual love.
Why can't you just admit that there's, a person can't love everybody? Okay?
Yes, they can. That's what
Yo,
Jesus commanded.
Jesse-
Didn't Jesus command we
no,
love our
okay,
enemies
commanded,
and neighbor?
and no, he didn't command.
Yeah, he said, a new commandment I give you, love one another. He also said, love your enemies. I do believe that Jesus said
That's
that.
the Ten Commandments. Is that the Ten Commandments?
No, I think Jesus said it.
That's well, I mean,
Ten
yeah,
Commandments says love your
from
neighbor.
God, so Jesus was God. So I mean, yeah, same thing. Yeah, but
You
I just
are-
want
you
to
really
tell
are
this, man.
confused.
The reason, no, you are confused. Let me tell you, the reason why the Pharisees, why they wanted Jesus crucified, James,
Mm-hmm.
one simple thing. Okay, one simple thing that he
It's
was
rich hearing a man is bitter.
emulating to them.
It's rich
No,
hearing a man is
listen.
bitter and dark as tea. Dark on the inside, I'm
Listen.
talking about.
Listen.
Talking about
Listen,
Jesus.
James, I'm
Okay,
trying to
what's the
teach
one
you
simple
something,
thing?
man.
Go for it. Go for it.
The one simple thing is the reason why they wanted him crucified is because he was given the impression that he was God. Okay?
The Son
That's
of God.
why they
The
wanted
Son
him
of God.
crucified. No, that he was God.
The Son of
That's
God.
why they wanted him gone. Okay? That's the reason.
The Son of God.
Okay? No, that he
The
was
King
God.
of the Jews.
Okay? That's the reason why they want him crucified.
Were they right to
Okay.
crucify him?
Were they right?
Uh-huh.
No.
So
Well,
you're
it was-
saying it was all a misunderstanding. They misunderstood Jesus. Just like you misunderstand because you are completely blind, Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah,
Isn't
think
that
about
an
it. Just
interesting
understand
parallel?
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Wow.
Jesse Lee is the biggest
Because you make
liar
claims,
you'll
you make
find
claims
out
about
there.
JLP that are not true,
Yeah, because
and then
he's
that's
a
your
false
whole
teacher,
your whole
man.
fake reason for opposing him. Very interesting. You're just like the Pharisees.
Yeah.
Thank you, T.
Because he's a hypocrite. That's why.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, and you
This
follow
snake,
that
this
same line.
snake calls in on my show, and every time he cannot help himself.
And
he calls in like a snake to talk about
One
JLP.
last question, man.
To
One
talk
last
about
question.
JLP,
Why-
like
and let me
a
ask you,
hurt
man,
girlfriend,
Let
like
me
a
ask you
scorned
something.
woman.
Why did you just ban Tony from your show because he expressed his opinion to you?
No, he got vulgar.
Why you got a little emotional?
He got
That man
vulgar.
didn't get- I didn't hear him say what because he said you came from your mother.
I didn't want to take the chance. T, I appreciate your call. I don't know if you're going to say anything vulgar or not. But I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to make the same mistake twice. Am I right? Although I frequently do. What a mess. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, as George W. Bush said, well, you aren't going to fool me twice. I think he said something like that. He was evil too. I didn't know it. Kenny in Idaho. How are you doing, Kenny in Idaho?
I'm fair to Midland.
Fair to Midland?
Yeah, that's a saying of old timers.
All right.
And I admire them.
How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I don't know. Was I there when I was born? My memory didn't start happening until about 3 years old. I remember that. I remember that they told me I was 3 when I began remembering stuff.
So how many years since 3 has it been?
Well, they got a document that alleges that I was born in 68. So
Okay.
you do the math.
Gen
you
X.
know what
Is that Gen X?
mathematics-
I think
What?
it's Gen X. Yeah.
Well, I've heard the cusp for the boomers is 67.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
missed it by 1 year.
I know. I
could have
missed
been.
Gen X by 1 year too.
Yeah,
I thought I was Gen X until the end of high school. Then I learned about Gen Y.
Yeah, who are these people
millennials.
that are dictating which years are good for the greatest generation and which years?
So you're in
you're
in your 50s?
Best. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I feel like I'm just over 27, 28, thereabouts.
You
That's
pretty
what I
healthy?
feel like.
You got a good back and everything? Good knees?
But that's all. I learned something in accepting the Lord and accepting the truth of creation and God and things of the Spirit is that it doesn't do us really any good to kind of judge even stuff that seems benign, like I judge whether or not I have good teeth, good hair.
What about good back and knees?
All I know is I got a good appetite.
Man.
And when I'm thirsty, I get a good appetite for a drink of cold water.
You guys, man. Urinal Cake Sorcerer says, what is wrong with you callers? Answer the question. You ain't that interesting?
Nope. Not interesting at all.
But anyway, I still appreciate you, Kenny. What did you want to... You had a tip for me or something?
No, I appreciate your experts on the JLP earlier. That was great.
Oh, cool.
Really good banter. And what do you think about the explosion of the the alternative news sources hitting the airwaves over digital television? Do y'all get any antenna TV? Rooftop signal?
You know what? I haven't really noticed that. I saw Jesse Lee Peterson on One America News Network, which was an outlet that was touted by Trump, our real President Trump, during his administration. He said that One America News Network, OANN, is a better source than he prefers them to Fox News. Let's just put it that way.
Sure,
and I saw
Fox
Jesse. Did you see Jesse Lee Peterson's appearance on One America News a couple weeks ago? I think.
But I do recall him mentioning these other news sources, which are they've been on the internet the whole time, and now there's an explosion. I'm getting Christian broadcasters over my antenna, free TV lately, and I guess you got to be in the right market. You got to be in a red state. Maybe that's my problem. I mean, that's the main problem with the mainstream. Their viewership is going down the tubes, and I guess their stockholders don't care about that.
Huh? Wow.
And the board of directors don't care about all of the award shows that their viewership is failing.
Yeah.
And the major sports broadcasts. Although I still tune into portions of MLB, Major League Baseball.
And JLP appeared on Infowars.com with Alex Jones just yesterday.
Oh, I got to catch that. I got to catch that on my internet. I think I can pull that up on a recycled TV. I mean, the video.
Okay. Yeah. Donald Trump is going to be interviewed. I guess it's going to come out on Twitter from Real America's Voice, RAV. Real Am Voice is their Twitter handle.
Yeah, that's Monday at noon Pacific on Real America's Voice, and they got the free streaming live broadcast on the internet. Real
we'll see
America's
how that goes.
Voice.
Congratulations to them. That's cool.
Yeah, that is a good thing, but it's just a matter of time before they get bought out. You know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Newsmax had a guy storm off the set.
Who did?
Newsmax was interviewing Mike Lindell about the election fraud, And
Whoa.
I don't
There
know,
was no election fraud.
Say again?
There was no election fraud.
Right?
So,
Sounds
but they
plausible
had
to me.
Mike Lindell stormed off the thing, or what?
No, some no-name news presenter on Newsmount. And
Stormed
I thought,
off
wow.
after something
Yeah.
that Mike Lindell said?
Yeah. 'cause
Okay.
He was
Interesting. I
trying
hadn't
to
heard that.
He was trying to overtalk Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
And Mike Lindell was just going on us in Holy Spirit.
Right.
And he goes, wait, what? He
Interesting,
goes,
man.
Wait, what? And shut him up. He walked off the set. The poor guy felt sorry for the news presenter.
Yeah. Interesting.
But there was there was a lady Newsmax broadcaster, and then the journalist or whatever you want to call her, and she just sat there and she was handling herself.
Right.
Maybe she didn't want
People got to get their
to be
stuff
associated with the
together.
Mike
Anyway,
Lindell
man,
thing.
I appreciate it, Kenny. Thank you for the tips.
Yeah, that's David Brody's TV show. He's on for 1 hour.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Have a good
Right
weekend,
on.
Kenny.
Yes,
Appreciate
the
you.
Lord bless you, and happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to the fathers.
Yes.
And women, too.
That is right. Father's Day is
know.
this Sunday. Church with
Yes,
Jesse
happy
Lee Peterson
Juneteenth.
on Father's Day. Wow.
And happy Father's Day.
Indeed. I'm not a
Yeah.
father.
Well,
Yet.
in
We'll
God's
see.
eyes, if someday down the road you do become a father, then in God's eyes you're a father now. Because
Okay.
of your attitude towards Him makes you father worthy, and you got people
All right.
under you accepting truth through you
You have kids,
in the
Kenny?
name of the Father.
You have any children?
Well, not that I know of. And at one point, I was a effort. I was a what do you call them? Slut maker. And I
Right.
didn't know.
Okay. I got
didn't
you.
know.
I caught your drift. Interesting,
Right
man.
on.
Well, thank you, man.
I'll be calling you again. Right on. Thanks, James.
All right. Take care. Very nice. Very nice. Man. Okay. Let me just double check my items. There might have been something. Oh, real quick. Let me show this Christians engaged before I get to calls. Eric in Florida, first-time caller, supports Juneteenth. I'm coming to you next. Hang tight, man. But real fast. I have some screenshots from this website of this Christians Engaged organization, a nonprofit 501c3 out of Texas, but they're not recognized as 501c3 nationally. 501c3 means nonprofit tax exempt, right? They're a Christian organization, religious. Christians Engaged. And it's led by this woman named Bunny Pounds, Bunni, Pounds. A woman. I think it's a white woman. Former congressional candidate. One of those politically active women. 15-year political consultant and motivational speaker. What? But she's a Christian. She seems like she's probably a nice lady. The vice president is this Tracy woman? Bradford. Former president of Texas Eagle Forum. Eagle Forum is a well-known organization that was started by the great lady Phyllis Schlafly, who seemed to be a true lady. She appeared on the Jesse Lee Peterson show at least once, and probably multiple times. JLP has spoken at Eagle Forum at least once, maybe multiple times. Phyllis Schlafly, great, beautiful woman. She is now gone. She died a few years back. But anyway, these are the people who run this organization. And I have some other pictures of other representatives and people who are on this advisory board. A lot of women, a lot of guys, old guys, right on. On the leadership page, it has a picture of this lady, this Bunny thing. Bunny is her first name, right? Bunni. weird first name or interesting first name. Not trying to offend her. This is the organization that is being called, oh, because you believe in the Bible supports the Republican Party. Therefore, you should... I talked about this in Hake News at the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. Basically listing all the stuff. Oh, abortion would not be supported under the Bible. Same-sex marriage, real definition of marriage, wouldn't be supported under being a real Christian. Basically, the IRS man was saying that you can't be a Christian and a Democrat. Therefore, a Christian organization, especially Christians Engaged, who touts stuff about public policy, cannot be tax exempt because they're political, they're private interest. But there's a whole lot of organizations that are interested in public policy stuff that are nonprofits. On one hand, I don't know much about this organization. I'm not saying that you should necessarily support them. But on the other hand, them versus the government, I'll go with them every time. Hey, Hake, Tony likes to brag about America becoming less white, being less white. America is changing away from you whites. But it is not from the increase in blacks. When the time is right, politicians going to change the spotlight to a different POC group. That's true, Cobra Koi 99 with a Trovo colorful chat. Indeed, the Hispanics have already surpassed the blacks, in part due to black birth rates are not as high, not nearly as high as the Hispanics. And not to mention abortion. If blacks hadn't aborted all those babies, maybe they'd still, very likely they'd still be in they'd be the biggest so-called minority. Let me get to Eric, a first-time caller in Florida. How are you doing, Eric? Thank you for holding.
Hey, what's going on, brother? How can you hear me?
I hear you great. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I wrote some notes down so I can stay on track here. I just got 4 points, but it all falls under one big one, and that is, in my opinion, the United States of America has been specifically anti-slavery since July 4th, 1776.
Okay.
So for Juneteenth, oh, and by the way, for Pentecost on Sunday, as per Orthodox Christianity, Sunday is also the day of Pentecost as well as Father's Day. So
oh,
it's
wow.
pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So for Juneteenth, I support it, and I look at it like this. Do you smoke cigars? Do you guys smoke cigars?
No.
Okay. Well, in cigar smoking, there's this thing called the Brotherhood of the Leaf. It's basically anyone that goes to cigar lounges. You can go into a cigar lounge all over the world, and it's almost like you're in the same place every time. When I look at Juneteenth, I look at it as like a holiday where mature adults can sit around and talk about like the deeper stuff that went on to stop, the slavery in the Civil War. And so it's a day that people can sit and talk about like how many white people died, in that war being against slavery.
Yeah.
They can also talk about the same thing in the U.S. Revolution in 1776. They can also talk about pretty much every war up until about Vietnam, where the military has tried to integrate racially and sexually both man and woman. Men and women and black and white people have been fighting next to each other in combat in like almost every American conflict. Like there are moments historically where you can actually see where people fought together as Americans regardless of their race or creed or religion since the Revolution. And so a holiday like this, in my opinion, is a good opportunity for people to look at that stuff, to look at our past, and to become better, as opposed to thumbing our noses at each other over this. So that's like my first point. In that aspect, I support Juneteenth as a learning point that people can use for a positive. You know what I mean?
Do you know anybody who's doing that? Who's showing respect for all the whites who died in order to...
Yeah, man, I'm from the South, dude. There's a lot of people. I think what it is, man, is the media is stealing people's voices. There's a lot of young... I'm technically a millennial, too. There's a lot of young people that are, like, all different races, and I've had really good chats with them about this stuff. Like, I really think, like, we're having the wool pulled over our eyes by politicians and the media to, like, make us hate each other, dude. I guarantee you, man, there's so many people in my generation of, like, millennials that are just... We're just so tired of this crap, and we just want to be friends. You know what I mean? I'm serious, man.
Do you see the country getting better?
No, I don't. But I know that there's a bunch of people in my generation that if they knew, like, what to do, they would do it. They would, like, do the right thing. Like, I know there's a bunch of people that don't want to, like, hurt each other over this stuff. It's stupid.
Who did you hear of Juneteenth from? Who first told you about Juneteenth?
I actually just saw it on a calendar, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
So it was like a calendar like this year, or?
No, it was actually from a year or two ago. Someone had some private company had, like, seeded it, you know, like a propaganda type thing.
Yeah, right.
I know how that stuff kind of works. It starts with marketing, and then you put the idea into someone's head, and then eventually people accept it.
Yep.
But the thing is that was, in my opinion, just objectively speaking, from what I understand, it's when people went into the west part of the Union in the Civil War and said, hey, this document has been ratified, so we're letting everyone know that, like, you better set your slaves free because they're free now.
Crazy.
What are
the slave owners supposed to do at that point?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wasn't there. I'm going off the history of, like, what I've learned.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. The other thing too is I wanted to talk about. Oh, by the way, the reason I say that America is specifically anti-slave, I don't know if you knew this, but France was the first international country to recognize the United States of America as a country, as far as I know.
Okay.
And that was through diplomatic work of a lot of the founding fathers who were white.
Right.
And one of them specifically, you know, he might not have been the best behaved person, but Benjamin Franklin did a lot of that for us, and John Adams as well, when they went over to France. Now, our first international conflict that we ever fought, which, if I understand correctly, is part of how the United States Marine Corps earned part of their hymn, the lyrics in their hymn, was actually a war against slavery in North Africa. The Adolf of Sweden and the President of the United States signed an act making us basically like international allies, and we sent troops over the sea to stop all forms of slavery in North Africa, like sex slavery, white slavery, black slavery, all of it. Like, that was our first conflict that we fought as a real country. So if people just chilled out for like 2.5 seconds and read a couple of history books, this is like common history too. This is not sugar-coated. This really happened. Our country went and fought slavery. And Thomas Jefferson, prior to him getting out of his presidency, he had already started penning anti-slavery acts because he felt that we needed to stop being part of the slave trade. America, as an original nation, needed to stop feeding into an international issue. So this is not like...
I know that General Robert E. Lee called it a political and moral evil.
Yeah.
And he kept his slaves because he inherited this thing from his wife's father, I guess, who died, and left him in this estate that he had to take care of. So he kept them on. But I think that a lot of people, whites are the most, both historically and to this day, not into the white thing, easy to get along with for among other races. So it's a big lie that they're quote unquote racist. They should be smarter and tougher, honestly.
Yeah, and
the problem is whites are too nice.
That's a good segue because here's my next part. Okay, this is what I told. Was it Nick, the anchor baby? Was he the one that took my call? What's up, brother? I thought that was his voice. Dude, by the way, that's so funny when Jesse Lee Peterson plays video games. That's so funny, dude. Anyway, why white people are truly getting upset with the racial issue. This is all it has to do with. It's getting to the point where the propaganda on TV doesn't matter anymore. All the little slogans, okay, the protests, that's cool. The issue is that white women and white children are being raped and murdered, and people are starting to use those rapes and murders as they're justifying those rapes and murders with the stuff that's going on as like a reckoning. Those public figures actually saying, like, this is a reckoning. Let me tell you something. If I walk outside and mi abuela is bleeding on the ground, we're going to have a problem, okay? That's the problem we're having in this country, is people are losing sight of this to where people are actually thinking about, yeah, I am going to go pull that old lady out of that house and beat her up because she's white. No, you're going to piss off her grandson who's 6 foot tall, man, and he's going to tell you no. That's the problem, is we don't have enough people in my generation going, no, okay, no. So, and here's a good example. I don't know if you remember, but on the Fallen State, you had that sports diversity guy, that big chubby dude. That was talking to Jesse.
Okay. Yep.
Remember the part where Jesse mentioned that white women have been politically and socially brainwashed to become a sacrifice to black people? Do you remember how that guy reacted when he said that?
No.
He was just so like, oh yeah, well that's just
wow.
No, man.
Yeah.
You're not going to sacrifice white women to this bullshit anymore. Sorry, I cursed, but anyway, people will say that like a white majority country is full of Nazis because they push us, they push things in our face, and they say basically like on a whole national level, we're going to push all this chaos into your face, and then we're going to create all this legalese nonsense that's going to make you afraid to raise a finger in reaction in any way. And then the second you raise a finger, we're going to give you a police protection order. We're going to take your guns from you. We're going to make you feel like you're evil, all because I don't want you raping my grandmother in the middle of the street or crashing my police cars or setting my buildings on fire. Yeah, mine, America. You know, the real Americans that are just like, can I just go to work this morning and not worry about running over a roadside bomb or something?
Yeah.
Because it feels like they're turning our country into Afghanistan. And
It's
I was
evil.
there, and that's horrible. So, anyway.
You're Hispanic, Eric?
No, I'm white as the clouds.
Okay. You threw me off when well, I wasn't sure what you were. And then you said mi abuela.
Yeah, that was a nod to Nick, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it's a nod to all of my American people, dude.
Well, I
don't care
appreciate
about
it,
that
Eric.
stuff.
I still
man.
don't support Juneteenth, but I
know why
guess
you
I
don't.
get what
I
you
get
mean.
it. Yeah,
I mean,
I get why you don't.
it is an opportunity to point out, you know, somebody said in the chat, and I saw JLP retweeted my guest from this week. I don't know if you caught it. Steve King from Iowa said 700,000 white Christian men died in the conflict to, according to him, save the Union and end slavery.
Yeah.
Their descendants, such as they exist, are still waiting for a thank you from the Congressional Black Caucus. Instead, they demand slavery reparations.
Yeah, and they also demand that we dig up graves of people who have federal protection under the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. They want to dig up those people's corpses. That's an absolute no-go, and you're going to piss off a ton of veterans, including black veterans. I guarantee it.
Yep. I appreciate it, Eric. Interesting call, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Do call again if you can.
Yeah, I've been watching you guys for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. And Jesus is God.
Says you. All right, man.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, see ya.
All right. Oh, man. Blazing Hogs and from Dayton, Ohio, and Robert from Kansas, and Rick from Hampton, and Dula from Detroit, and the rest of the callers. Blazing Hogs says Putin is more American than Biden. Robert wanted to talk about Juneteenth. Would have been very interesting. And Rick from Hampton, too, wanted to talk about this June. I should call it June blah, blah. And Dula from Detroit says the Bible says real Jews are black. Guys, I cannot get to you. Call me to Monday or whenever you can. And this has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. JesseLeePeterson.com for JLP stuff. RebuildingTheMan.com/church for Church with Jesse Lee. I will be on the cross stream, Samuel the Swede's, I believe, YouTube channel. Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, my time. And, of course, The Fallen State, happening in less than an hour. TheFallenState.tv on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Take care.
What?